The Museum of Neon Art is where science meets art. MONA is the only museum in the world devoted to the exhibition of electric fine art and the restoration of historic neon signs. Let's take a closer look at how this eye-catching and mind-bending art form is illuminating Los Angeles.
When you enter our galleries, the first thing you're going to see is all of the illumination and the beautiful neon lights. Our main goal is to preserve and display and educate the public about historic neon signs, primarily in Southern California. But in addition to that, we also want to make sure we provide a creative space and an exhibition space for contemporary artists, but not just neon artists. We also want to give the space for kinetic and electric artists to display their artworks as well, because there is so much crossover and intersection between all of those fields. We've been open since 1981. We were started by two queer neon artists, Lily Lackage and Richard Jenkins, and they not only wanted to preserve and conserve the neon signs that were quickly disappearing from Southern California's landscape, but they also wanted to provide a creative space for artists like themselves who didn't necessarily find themselves fitting in with the general art scene in Southern California at the time. We do have quite a few historic signs in our permanent collection. One of them happens to be Doc Kills Them over here. And if you get close, you'll actually see exactly what kind of work we do with our permanent collection. We don't want to entirely restore the sign, so you can see that the aluminum in the back, the paint is chipping off. We've left some of that natural patina there, because unless it's necessary, for instance with the Chinese Theater Dragon, which it was an absolute necessity to do a full restoration on, we want to keep the original content and its original pieces as much as possible. So the lettering over here you can see as well, that green phosphor, isn't it gorgeous? I just love looking at that so much. So the green phosphor over here is also a restored one, and it's great to compare and contrast between the old one and see how time affects a lot of these tubes and changes it. And the best thing about neon is that, in my opinion, it's never going to die out. It's something that is so comforting to look at, it's fun, it's a little quirky, and it really does tell a story. Right now we have Brian Coleman and Kunio Ohashi's retrospectives. That's a little bit more of the contemporary side of neon that a lot of people love to come in and experience and compare and contrast to the historic signs. So there's always something new and exciting happening at MONA.
Brian was the most recognized because he was a pioneer in this medium, starting maybe in the early 70s. He was experimenting with neon, pushing the medium, blowing bubbles and using various color combinations and so forth that wasn't commonly used. Gosh, there's so much technical ability here, aside from just his sense of beautiful design. But his combination of colors, from the blue here to a little dot of uranium green to the red, to get that all of these colors in one gas is just amazing. And yet all these different tubes are kind of combined to make his composition. But just technically as a glass blower, the man was outstanding. Kunio, he's maybe more of a mixed media artist, where he's using wood and rock and found object wood and making these little forms that are duplicating the shape of the rock and lighting up. It's like this positive negative type feel to his work.
The MONA Museum has a workshop inside, and you guys teach classes here, right?
Yes, we do. We have the introduction class, which I think is an 8-week course. It's basically design, how someone who knows nothing about the glass blowing or neon in general can come in with an idea and have that fabricated by a bender. And we have another class which is called Bend, Blow, and Glow. And that's for people who really just want to learn how to do these bends, how to manipulate that glass over the fires.
And here we have a really cool example of mid-century modern architecture on the left-hand side, the Hollywood Adventist Church.
When the sun sets, the city lights up. Climb aboard Mona's Neon Cruise and you can see the lights and architecture of the city in all its glory. On top of a convertible double-decker bus, see the glow of luminous tubes and noble gases and hear the cultural history of neon art in Los Angeles. The Museum of Neon Art shines a light on neon art and the urban landscape of Los Angeles. Visit neonmona.org for the current schedule of exhibitions and workshops. Thank you for joining us.